So this video, we're going to talk about the Victor DCL 1640 on the Fanuc 20T. This lathe came with the SmartX 20, a very capable tool changer. I really like this one. Of course, this is the older model. I'm not sure if these tool holders will fit, so I had to make some. So there's two versions, I guess the new version and the old version. I just made some to fit this particular version. At any rate, here is the internal cooling, or the cooling system, should I say, that comes out of the nozzles here. And then, when I got it, of course, these two there's two airlines here. One, of course, providing pressure to lock the tool holder, and another one to unlock the tool holder. I had to change these airliners, and I put them red and blue, if you can see. And then one is for the encoder, the other one is for the motor controller that actually change the tools. Real quick explanation. Basically, when you give the tool command, there's two ways to do it. One, you just press the turret button right over here, which I'll show you in a second. The air is off. And the other one is just to MDI or through a program, and you tell the tool changer where to go. I'll also show you that in a second. So the way I usually do it, after homing the machine, you will see that all the tools read 0, and then you would just go to MDI, program, edit, enter your MDI, and then you first set your first tool. My current tool right now is on 2.3, so I'm gonna select 20303 and a block, insert. Now, when I press the start, it already went to that tool. If the encoder is working, you're not going to get any problems. So I had two issues with this when I bought the machine. First one, the airlines were broken. And then the second problem is that the encoder was also broken. So I had to replace the encoder, which I'm going to show you what I did, and this. Now let's see that I want to switch. I'm in 2.3. It knows that it's on 2.3, offset 3. And this is how this machine works. You don't put an M6 command or anything, right? So say I want to go to M1, which I'm going to be working here in just a bit. I will put 20101 or T0101 and a block, insert. And then I'll just press the cycle start button. And of course I don't have any air, so I just, and there you go. Tool timeout error. So let me turn the air real quick. By the way, please don't do this rookie mistake. It can damage your lathe, your tool changer. So let's go back to program, input. Now that I'm back on 2.3, or that it never moved, I'm just gonna alter it. I'm gonna do this again, and let's try this again now with the air on. So 0101 and a block, insert, and then I'm going to go cycle start, and then it goes to tool number 1. Now, the other way to change tools is just by pressing the turret forward tool. Now, this does, I first need to go in handle, and then I can just press this number, and then the tool will switch one by one. Now, you don't need a good encoder to work this. So when I get the machine started, I would just do this, of course the air has to be working. And there's a chamber here. So basically the way this works is it gives the command to pressurize the chamber. It brings the lock back this way. And then the motor actuates and turns. and then as the chamber comes back, it gives the strobe command, and then after the motor turns one time, it just the air is redirected to the lock position. Now, when you do this, of course, your tool is going to kind of get lost, right? But if you have a good encoder, you can just go back to MDI. Right now, I am in tool number 4. So I imagine that I can just go T0404. Wait, that didn't go well. One too many. 0404 and the block. Insert. And then if I go here to start, you already know that I'm in 2.4. Now, because I'm going to be working with 2.1, I'm just going to go back to 2.1, insert, and then go back here, press start, and you go straight to 2.1. So how do we troubleshoot the tool changer if your tool changer is not working on the Fanuc 20T? So unfortunately, my ladder is protected. So I'm trying to find a way to see how I can unblock this and maybe start, unlocking the ladder. And I tried the keep relay, but to no avail. And so if you know anything about unlocking the ladder here in the 20T, please let me know. But anyway, there's 3 basically things that you have to watch for the Dorian tool changer, the Smart X20. So the first one is the driver. This is the back of the driver. And I'm taking a picture more, maybe you lost your cables are not well painted anymore because they're old. This wire here, these are all the wires. They are in my machine. They are legible. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then once I go to the back of the tool holder, I can see it. This, of course, is the VFD that controls. I have not messed around with that. So far, it's working. So anyway, so from the tool changer, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I had to rewire those because it was quite a mess, and I couldn't even open the lid here, this back lid, without wires falling apart. Now these are the ones for the encoder, these 4 here, and then I have I believe this is positive and negative, and these are the proximity sensors on that air. The air chamber that goes back and forth to lock the tool holder and back. Also works as a strobe. Of course, this is the encoder that I had to replace because this encoder was bad. Now, the new encoder is about $800. So I had to go with a cheap Chinese version because I don't really need, that much equipment. So once I go back, they are well labeled. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4 for the encoders, and then I don't know the top of my head, but this is auto, jog, negative, jog, positive. So all these are from that box that I showed you. And then this is the back. This is also well labeled and easy to find. Then this is what I want to talk about. I really like this motherboard. Never seen one before like this. But here's all the wires. If the wires are hot or they have like 24 volts on, these lights will light up, right? So I think there's like, these are the first 10 corresponding to these. And then these are my wires, right? So that wire 1, 2, 3, 4 for the encoder, and then the other wires. So this 35 here, which I believe is the yellow, you can almost see yellow here, some yellow, is this light. So this is tool number 1, because tool number 1 is on, off, off, off. Okay. And then this is 3940. Can't remember top of my head what these are, but I know these are the combinations that you're going to be looking for. And this is a graphical, kind of like I made this chart so it's easy for me to see if the encoder is working or not. So basically, this is yellow, orange, blue, and green machine colors. And these are the encoder colors, right? So, and there's several different colors. This is even confusing. Don't look at this necessarily. But anyway, the first wire, this is how the machine understands that is on tool 1. It's on, off, 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 representing by the 1000 number. And then tool 2 would be 0100. So this would be off, on, 24 volts, off and off. There's some voltage here. I think my machine is indicating 0.4 volts, but it doesn't show, of course, on that. The machine doesn't recognize 0.4 volts. So, and of course, tool 3 would be 24 volts, off and off. So on, off, and off would be 1100, and so on and so forth. You can look at kind of like this graph and kind of troubleshoot to make sure your encoder. Mine, the one was working, so this here was working and this one was working, but these two in the middle, they were not working. I tried to troubleshoot the encoder and I just couldn't make it work. Now, if you have encoder problems, most likely you're going to get this alarm message, the turret timeout error. So the key now, if you have a encoder problem, is like how to find an affordable encoder. As my original encoder was something like $800. So I decided to go with this one. And how do you know that this one is going to work? So the encoders, so it's basically an absolute encoder, and then they have the 6, 8, and 12 position. If you go to AliExpress like I did, if you're really cheap, then you select here. I selected 8. Of course, mine was on promotion. I got a little bit less than that. I think I paid 104 bucks. That one is sold out actually, but this would be a good one. The other thing you can do is just look at the specs, the spec sheet for that encoder. And what you want to see is something like this here. So see like how in 2.1 you have, so it's 4 ons, right? So on for bit 0, or the first one. And then the second one, I think, is going to be, yeah, see, 2.2 is just this one on. And then 2.3 is this on and this on, off and off. And then 2.4 would be off, off, on, off. And then 2.5 on, off, right? So anyway, you got to follow with this. Now, one thing you have to be careful is that some encoders, they are like 256 position encoder, and you might be able to work some. This is like how the back of the encoder looks like, right? So as the light passes through this into that photo receptor, it reads, you will read, the 24 volts or the 0 volts. This was, I think, my original one, and I was trying to figure out why it wasn't working, and it was just very hard to figure everything out. And then you might have different types of encoder. I think the one you're looking for is the binary to work for that 8 position 2 holder. But then if you have the 256 position one, you might not be able to turn to 8. And this is what the problem I ran into, because I did find a real cheap one, like a $45 one, but I couldn't just go from 0 to 8, so I started having problems um, with the wiring. Then again, this is another. Oh yeah, that was the original one, I believe. And I just couldn't figure out. This got like really out of hand really quick. But anyway, if you can find a PDF, um, that's the best way, because if the PDF says, you know, if the spec sheet says that he is going to do this, then you're pretty safe. But and I think that's that CAS 42, the one I ended up buying, was the same one as the CAS. All right, so that's my experience. I hope it helps. Not all two changers work like this, but like my other Fanuc does not have an encoder like this. It works totally different. But hopefully, if you troubleshoot and you get to this issue here, you know, I hope this video helped. Have a good day.